We're only a month into 2022, and do I already have my favorite figure or figures of the year? Wave 4 of TMNT Ultimates is fantastic! Hello everybody and welcome to Geek Dad Life. It's your host, Jay Gladfelter here. I have reviewed all of the figures released so far in Super 7's TMNT Ultimates line. I even have that party wagon on order. So if you like this video and want me to do more like it, hit that like button. And if you want to see when those episodes drop, click the subscribe button and that bell icon. Super 7's TMNT Ultimates line is one of my favorite things to collect right now. It is exactly what I am looking for in a high-quality, premium adult collector line because it is evoking the feel of the original toy line that I grew up with as a kid, but it's giving me modern articulation, modern sculpting, amazing paint applications. It's really doing what Mattel did with the Masters of the Universe Classics line, but it's being done for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I absolutely loved Wave 1 and Wave 2 of this toy line, but Wave 3 was a bit of a disappointment. It's kind of the first one that just kind of left me feeling meh. So Wave 4, there's a lot riding on it for me, and especially with really high expectations for this wave. You know, going back to the Toy Geeks when this wave was first announced, both John and I were kind of over the moon with what we saw in those first images for these figures. So with Wave 3 being a little bit disappointing and Wave 4, what we saw looking to be a fantastic wave, it could have very easily fallen short of those really lofty expectations. But I'm happy to say it did not. Every single figure of this wave is fantastic. Even the ones that I would rank my least fave of the wave are still fantastic figures. So let's dive into them. First up is the packaging. I could care less about the packaging at this point. Honestly, out of all of the, collector toy lines that are out there, I really feel like the Ultimates kind of trapezoidal box, especially for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is just green. It doesn't do much. It's really big and bulky. And so, I guess it safely, delivers my figures to me. At this point, I could ship it in a bag and I would be fine. But just some things of note with this wave, the Muckman and Joe Eyeball set is in a much bigger package than any of the ones that we've seen so far. So the packaging is the packaging, whatever. Let me know in the comments, like, is everybody else kind of over the Ultimates packaging? It's just the same every single time, and at this point, it does nothing for me. So let's move on to the figures themselves. I'm gonna go with my most favorite to least favorite, but again, I think all the figures in this wave are fantastic. But really, the top of the pops, the most amazing, one of the most amazing toys I have held in my hands in recent memory is the Muckman and Joe Eyeball set. This thing is just incredible. It's not just because it's just a big figure, right? I think they've done a pretty darn good job in this toy line with the bigger, more monstrous figures. But it's just, the colors really pop. Funny enough, I don't have my vintage Muckman around, or I would do the side-by-side comparison with him. But the colors, like the orange of the suit, just really pop. And every single little sculpted detail has like a unique paint application. Like, it is just incredible, the detail on this thing. And the articulation is good as well. I would be a little bit worried this is really top heavy. But one of the probably features why they put it on the original toy is having the manhole cover as one of his feet helps it be a little bit more stable. Even in my hand, you can see it's standing up okay. We'll kind of see how that lands over time. But every detail, the head, the articulation in the head still has the the little cap so you can pour the ooze down the top if you wanted to. I will not be doing that. But for those that, I think some people were saying they bought multiple so they could do that. But even in this wrist right here with the bone, and how they did the ball articulation. So even though the wrist, you can kind of see through it, it still has full articulation and you can swap out the hands. Like, again, the engineering of this thing alone is fantastic, but the paint applications, the sculpting details is just great. And the fact that, we got Joe Eyeball, and I left my little baggie that it came just kind of protected the paint for long-term display, but I'll take it off here now. But even Joe Eyeball's a great add-on here. He's got articulation. He's got articulated arms and a ball-jointed head, so you can move him around. Like, this is just a, was like a throw-in kind of companion plastic character on the original toy, and he's got like a full-on, action figure with this. So really, wow, just wow. And again, when we saw the pictures of him about a year ago, we were over the moon. But again, there's been times where you get renders or images of something, and once you get it in hand, it doesn't meet those lofty expectations. I'm telling you right now, this thing exceeds those expectations that I had a year ago when this wave was first announced. This is a tour de force. It's fantastic. I mean, even on his ID card, there's, I don't even get it in the shot here, but there's text. You can read the text. You can read his name before he turned into this monstrous character. But oh my gosh, it's just amazing. My only nitpick with Muckman is the trash can was really hard to attach to his back. Like the shape of the ring wouldn't quite fit, so it took a lot, like really forceful, to try and get the trash can to attach to his back, because the plastic this is made out of is softer, and it either warped or something in the packaging, and would not connect. And I've heard that be the case. I know John said that happened to him. I know some people in the chat on Toy Geeks also said that happened to them. So just one thing of note to knock this figure, but still, it is fantastic. So I know it's early, but figure of the year may already be won by this fantastic Muckman and Joe Eyeball. Next one up for me is what could be maybe the sleeper hit of this wave, and that is Mondo Gecko. And the reason I think it's just fantastic is all of the sculpting detail in this one is just incredible. I mean, the fact it's not quite a vehicle, but you're getting a actual rolling skateboard, but all the scales on him are there, and the wash that they used on him is just fantastic. And while he doesn't have a weapons rack or anything like that, just all of the unique kind of articulation and sculpting here. Like there's no reuse, there's no buck reuse. This is like a straight up new sculpt for this character, and they just took such great advantage of it. I have it displayed here with the alternate head, which I think is a little bit more fun. But the one that it comes packaged with is much more aligned to the vintage Mondo Gecko. If there's anything I would say a little weird with the alternate head sculpt is they still left the gap in the teeth for his tongue to hang out as he does in his more normal head sculpt. But oh my gosh, the sculpting, the articulation, the paint details, the wash, everything about it just looks incredible. And again, Mondo Gecko is not one of my favorite characters, so I think that's why I was kind of low on my list of ones that I would care about. But if the absolute stunner of Muckman and Joe Eyeball wasn't a part of this wave, this one could have definitely won Fave of the Wave. But they just did a fantastic job. Again, sculpting, paint, everything is darn near perfect. My only nitpicks would be, the original one came with a sticker sheet, and that's not represented here. So that would have been fun to have with Mondo Gecko, but still, another home run figure of this home run wave. Next up for me is my favorite character from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up and still to this day, and that is Casey Jones. I'm so thankful that I still have my childhood Casey Jones action figure with me to this day to do side-by-side comparisons to this new one. And I will say, when the images first showed up for this wave and this figure, I was a little bit disappointed by the head sculpt. I will say, though, that I think it looks much better in hand. I still think I like the original toy head sculpt better, but still, I think it looks a lot better in person than what we saw with those original renders of the figure. Again, some nitpicks with this one that's kind of dropped it a little bit for me in this wave. Again, I think it's more the other figures are so fantastic, and maybe Casey Jones isn't as dynamic compared to them. But I think the color's a little bit off on the golf bag for me to the original accessories. That's a minor gripe, I know, but it's just, again, that green is just so seared into my brain. I feel like this is a little too light for my eyes, and I think detracts from it just a little bit. But again, the paint details that were added to it is really cool. But other than that, I think it's a pretty faithful recreation of that figure, but upscaled to the TMNT Ultimates line and, standards with better articulation, better paint applications, and better sculpting. But again, just another minor nitpick is the ab at the, or I guess it's not really an ab crunch, but where the torso connects to the hips, it's kind of weirdly disconnected. And I get, he kind of has his midriff showing, in the vintage figure, but it kind of creates this weird little gap. I feel like they should have maybe had it sit in a little bit further into his hips so it wouldn't have that weird disconnect. It's not glaring. It doesn't detract it overall for me. But still, I think that's just, if I had to maybe say a detractor to this overall sculpt, I think it's right there in the waist hip area. The accessories are pretty good as well. Well painted, a little bit bendy. They kind of came in, some of the bats came in a little bit warped, but still, you know, it's not too bad. I think, you know, a blow dryer or hot water could probably get it back into shape. But still, Casey Jones, one of my favorite characters, so a lot of expectations here, but still really pleased with this Casey Jones. Even going side by side to the NECA Toon version, I think this one is head and shoulders above the NECA Toon version of the Casey Jones. Out of modern ones, though, I still think I like the movie one the best, just because I really like that representation of the character. But still, another fantastic figure in this fantastic wave. I also love how Nate Barch's toy designs, he started making the weapons trees or weapons racks have some unique fun features based on the character design, and this Casey Jones has a goal, a hockey goal, as part of the weapons tree. So I think that's really cool. It actually stands up. I really, really love this, and I think they're kind of going, he's gotten kind of more and more crazy as the waves has gone on, and I think they'll continue to do that. I really, really love that about the TMNT Ultimates line. So keep doing it. And last but not least is the last original looking turtle that we needed for TMNT Ultimates, and that's Donatello. Now, in the previous wave, Michelangelo was maybe the figure I was most disappointed because of the glossiness of the plastic, and I'm happy to say that there is no glossiness here on the Donatello. He looks fantastic. And, you know I'm picking him last here for Wave 4, but I don't think it's because the figure is bad or anything. I think he looks fantastic. He looks the part. It's great having all 4 Turtle Brothers in a row. Again, I'm sticking with the alternate head sculpts, so I think they look cooler. I think he's got a really nice kind of closed mouth look to him, kind of sternly looking on, and I think he just looks really cool. But some nitpicks on this one for me. The D on his belt here is a little bit off center. So I don't know if that'll be the case for everybody's Donatellos, but mine was a little bit off, so that's a bit of a bummer. And then also, I feel like his bow staffs are too short. I love the paint applications that they had to him. It looks like real wood. But really, I think they're just coming in a little bit too short for me. I would like them a little bit longer. Again, I'm not a martial arts expert, so I don't know how long they're supposed to be. But again, in his hands, just looks a little bit small. Like I would almost want the same amount of length on both sides of his bow staff. Let me know down in the comment section below if this is a bad take. But really, I think I would have liked to see the bow staff be a little bit longer. But again, I love this bounce back for the Turtles because Mikey was very disappointing for me, but I think this Donatello looks fantastic. Really, at this point, I'm just kind of bummed that my Mikey still is a little bit glossy compared to the rest of his Turtle brothers. Maybe they'll do a new version in the future that's a little bit less glossy, even though I know some people have gotten less glossy Mikeys. Just mine happened to be, and some of my other friends happen to be as well. But still, really great figure. No knock on him that he's my last of this wave because, again, the rest of the figures are just so fantastic. So overall, Wave 3, I was not happy with. I had some QC issues, as well as just some disappointing classic and sculpt and the presentation of the characters, but oh my gosh, Wave 4 has brought me back to being just over the moon gushing about this toy line from Super 7. Just really, every single figure was fantastic. Every single figure just really pops on a shelf. It's everything that I have loved about this line. Every figure is unique, a different scale, a different look, a different take, and I just think that's what makes this line so awesome. So it absolutely gets the Geek Dad Life buy rating, and I can't wait for the next wave of TMNT Ultimates from Super 7. Definitely check out some of my other videos like this one that YouTube wants you to check out, and one of my more recent videos. And until next time, hasta luego, and goodbye.